Hello, everyone. Give a moment for the Facebook Live to say that it's officially prepared. Wonderful. We are now streaming onto Facebook. Yay! So this is an amazing client success story with my beautiful soul line client, Laurie Love. Hi, Laurie. Thank you for coming. I'm so excited to share all of her amazing successes and celebrate them and share kind of like the arc of her journey so far. One, because she's amazing and I love celebrating my clients and putting them on the spotlight because they're amazing and wonderful humans. And two, for anyone who's in my world who's been considering joining a program or an offering that I have, and you get to see like what actual humans experiences have been like, what their before was, what their during has been during the containers, what it's been afterwards, because Laurie's now re-enrolled like 3 times. So there's like so much juiciness that people get in my world when they get to see my clients and share authentically what's been going on along the journey. So thank you so much, Laurie, for being with us.
Happy to be here. Thanks
Yeah.
for asking me. I love hanging out with you.
Me too. Such a pleasure. So I'm going to read Laurie's official title. So she is a certified erotic blueprint coach and intimacy coach. And she's here to help people have amazing sex lives by empowering individuals to learn about their unique erotic blueprints, which fosters greater self-awareness, acceptance, pleasure, and intimacy. Through personalized coaching, education, and support, she aims to promote self-love, sexual wellness, deep connections, and normalizing conversations around sex and celebrate the diversity of human desire and expression. So I love what you do in the world. And would you like to share with everyone a little bit more about who you are and some of your background?
Sure. So I have been with my partner for over 22 years now. Oh my gosh. Um, I never thought that that was going to happen. That wasn't part of my plan. I didn't really have much of a plan. I just kind of was going along with it. And I found the erotic blueprints at a time where I was really frustrated with my relationship. I was not sexually satisfied. And I was introduced to Jaya. And she's our mentor, our beautiful mentor. And when she developed the 5 erotic blueprint types, it saved my relationship. And this was like 10 years ago, she came up with the erotic blueprints. And so I've been doing this work with her and in my life for over 10 years. I became a certified erotic blueprint coach, I want to say like 6 years ago now. But I didn't actually start working with people. I had a corporate job and I was like, I'm just going to do this for my my personal development, because I wanted to have better orgasms. I wanted to have more orgasms. I wanted a hotter, juicier sex life. Like, I didn't want to be frustrated anymore. I didn't want to be upset and blaming my partner all the time. I wanted to learn the secrets, unlock the mysteries, and all that good stuff. And so, and I'm a big seeker, once I learned to start taking better care of myself and instead of just like being on the hamster wheel and just kind of going with the program and what everybody else was doing or what my boyfriends wanted or what have you, it was like once I kind of turned the focus into myself, that really changed everything. And yeah, and Laura and I met at a coach's event, and I just remember like going, oh my gosh, like I love her energy. And I didn't really know that much of her story. Like we had talked a little bit, and I didn't actually learn much of her story until until I re-upped this last time and I started listening to her Broken to Blissful program. And I went, oh, there's her story. Okay, cool. All right, no wonder I was meant to work with her. And it's just it's amazing. Like so I decided that I wanted to transition out of corporate accounting, and like she's got that accounting background just like me. So I'm like,
Yep.
oh my gosh,
All
we're
sisters.
yep, totally like totally soul aligned. Like she knows where I'm coming from. She knows what I'm struggling with. She's overcome it, and like she's radiant, And so I was just like, yeah, when I decided like, okay, I'm gonna be a full-time coach and this is what I really want to do for the rest of my life, like it was just natural that I can't remember how I came upon it, but like you've always just been like in my mind. And we've been friends on Facebook for a long time. And so like I always knew what you did. And I was like, yeah, doing an accountability group. I do really well with accountability groups, and having other people who are also struggling with what I'm struggling or at the same place that I'm in. Being a new I've had businesses in the past and started them. So I knew like what to do to kind of get going. But as far as like me showing up with confidence and going, yes, I can do this. Yes, I believe in myself. Yes, I have things that kind of stand in my way. Yes, I still have limiting beliefs that I need to heal. It just like everything that we do, everything that we do in our accountability group and everything that I do with Laura is like helping to like clear and release it all. Whatever comes up as it comes up. It's an amazing process, and it's an amazing group, and I'm so grateful. And that's why I keep re-upping, because I'm like, okay, I've gotten to this level now, and okay, I'm feeling good about it, and doing the things, and being accountable, and like, okay, like what's next? And so I'm always, stair stepping up and to improve myself, improve my world, and be better for my relationship, my clients, my friends, like just in the world. And so, you help so tremendously through theta healing, through practical nitty-gritty advice, like how do I do this and how do I do that? And, accounting wise, and I mean, just all of it. Like you have the expertise in all of the areas. And so I feel like you're kind of like a one-stop shop when it comes to, like getting your business up and running, reinvigorating yourself. Like if you've had a business for a while and you're just like, I'm not feeling it. Because I definitely like ebb and flow when it comes to things being new, things being difficult, or just not being in different seasons of the year of life of my cycle, and like honoring all of that.
So
Um, yeah. So I'm happy to be here and happy to share my experience, because I've in the last like year and a half, I feel like I've grown tremendously. Like if I look at, that little me then, I'm like, I love her, and I feel her, and she's there, and I feel like a bigger version of myself now, and I'm just like, I'm excited. um I'm like, okay, I'm growing, I can see like the little seed sprouting, um and so I'm just I can I'm I, yeah, I can't wait to like see what my life's going to be like a year from now. So excited about it.
I'm so, so, so excited too. And thank you so much for sharing all of that. It makes my heart so, so happy. And for people who have never met you before, let's jump back to about a year and a half ago when you, like, before you joined the like 6 weeks aligning and healing to heart-centered success. So you were like, yeah, I'm like, I'll let you explain where you were before, where you were at with like starting your business, clients, interests, rates, brain thoughts about all that. And then once you like started getting into my world.
Cool. Yeah, so year and a half ago, I was just setting up my website. I had just joined a in-person networking group. I didn't have a whole lot. I didn't have any clients yet. I had some like practice clients. I had some pro bono clients that I was working with.
Mhm.
to, help me like get back into the swing of things and just like get me started.
Mhm.
But yeah, I didn't have any clients. I had just started putting myself out there. I didn't even have any Facebook posts. I hadn't posted on my Instagram account wasn't even like active.
Yeah.
So I was in like the baby, phase
Oh,
of like just getting stuff going. And I'm trying to remember when I joined. I think it was like April, May, something like that, or summertime. Um, and um, and since I joined, like I did a live presentation,
mhm.
I show up at all kinds of networking functions, both in person and online. I feel like I feel like I have certain things down, and I also have like the confidence and freedom to just sort of like go with what I'm feeling on the spot, what I'm divinely guided to say. I love how like you use the example of like, I was at this thing and I was talking and this thing about trains came out. Like, I love that story. And this person, came and talked to me about like, oh my gosh, the trains was like the thread and
Yeah.
so
Like I've
like
never used trains to give that example before. Okay.
right and so like hearing your experiences about like I don't want to say that I don't know why this is coming out of my mouth or because I am very conscious about like what I say and how I say it, and I feel like I'm a channel sometimes that like there is something that needs to be said and somebody needs to hear it. And so trusting, being able to like trust my intuition, not have it be like I was I was so afraid of doing things wrong
Mhm.
and messing up and not being perfect and needing to know exactly what to say and how to say it. Like I wanted scripts and I wanted to sound all perfect. And, with like working together, like kind of allowing myself to like it doesn't need to be that way. And that actually is like stopping my forward progress and my momentum, like just showing up as myself, being real,
Mhm.
talking about what I'm going through. Like I'm still working on getting some of that posted online. But having that courage to just do it, and do it in a way that feels really good to me, is authentic, really speaks, like just whatever I want to share from my heart, coming back to like, oh, we think we need to do this and that for marketing purposes or business purposes. And it's like, no, actually, we don't. There is another way to do it. Or here are some other options. Like, all the options. And you're like, and I've tried that. I've tried the cookie cutter script and I've tried this and I've tried this. And, so finding like what really works well, for us as like individuals, because we're all unique um, and we're all different, but we're also all the same. So it's like having all these different fun things to play with has
Mhm.
been really exciting for me because as a manifesting generator, like I just have all these big ideas and want to do all these big things and have all this energy and I also like don't really want to complete things, or I I have this great idea, but there's this other great idea, and so having that understanding that like and that permission, I'm a very like rule follower, permission based, that's kind of my existential kink. Being able to like play with that, in a really like fun way that helps me grow my business. And so yeah, I've it was really cool. Um it was really cool because I just signed a new client within the last month,
Mhm.
and I had sent like the email to them with a special offer. Um, before we had our accountability call, and like while we were on our accountability call, like I got an email back from them and I didn't realize it until after we got off our call that they were like, yes, we want to work with you. And I was like, oh my gosh, like the divine timing and the magic of wow, like
Mhm.
them, it's like things manifesting, like being able to see it, like see it in action. Like, of course it had to happen when we were on the call together. Because we've got all that yummy, juicy energy, like spreading out into the universe to be like, hey, this is what we do and this is what we're about. And we're doing it in a soul aligned way that feels really freaking good, to us.
Yes. I love all of what you shared, and I want to like highlight some pieces for people who are listening in. So right now I have two pods available. We have the abundance pod for people who are making that transition from like having an income stream that's from a day job in some way, shape, or form to desiring to like shift into their business and have that become their full-time thing. So a big theme that comes through with people who are making that transition is like visibility. So I love that you brought that up, that now like you're going to networking events, you're live on Facebook and social media platforms, like you're sharing your light and your messaging in the world. And I'm particularly great at supporting early on entrepreneurs and shining their light brighter. So like I love, love, love all of those pieces. And also the inspired action steps. Like that I feel is so crucial to like give people permission to listen to their intuition, their heart, their soul path, and do your next inspired action baby step instead of the XYZ cookie cutter thing that you were talking about. Because like not all people are meant for those things. And yes, sometimes XYZ works for people, and sometimes it's ABQ. And like you're the only one who knows what that is for you. So I love being a stand for that for myself in the world and also my clients, that like we get to do things in a different way because there really are no rules. Like I did not come with a 1,000-page manual of like how to do Laura on this life when I was born. Like there's no rule book of how any of this has to go. So I love that people get to have the freedom to express themselves how they want, the freedom to like try and play with different things and be like, oh, okay, I did this. How did that feel in my body? Was that enlivening and it lit me up, or did it drain me and did it exhaust me? Did it not actually get me the results that I want? Like we get to take it all as information instead of like that I'm going to do something wrong or make a mistake or fail, like the heaviness of all that. So I love all that you shared. And then, yeah, like theta healing is unbelievably instantaneously transformational to just jump right into that subconscious block, limiting belief system, old story that doesn't serve you, and just clear it out so that it's not holding you back anymore. Yeah, like that makes my heart so happy that we get to like do this work in the world. And I want to celebrate you that like within that first 8-week container, you sold your first $3,000 package. Like that was massively huge for you at the time.
Yeah, that it was. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And since then you've sold a 5K package. So like your capacity to receive has also expanded. And like you being more grounded and embodied in your confidence that the work that you're doing changes lives. It's so supportive and infinitely valuable. So super celebrating you for all the growth that you've done there.
Yay. I love how much we celebrate.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Celebration is so huge,
Mhm.
especially for like perfectionists, ex-perfectionists, recovering perfectionists, people who like when they're in survival or last resource, perfectionistic tendencies come out. Like I totally have been there, am there, still working through all the things at like level 4,000,005. Like it can be so supportive to celebrate all along the journey instead of just be like, oh, well, I hit the milestone. That felt good for 5 seconds. Now I have my new goal. Just like in school. It's like, okay, graduated high school, now there's university. Okay, did that. Now I need to climb the corporate ladder. Okay, got that promotion, looking for the next one, adding more letters behind my name. Like I was on that good girl, high achiever track. It was burning me out and not supportive.
I
So
love you.
yeah. And I tend to attract a lot of people who had that or who burned out or who had the like hyper masculine energy in corporate of like perfectionism and doing, 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 and all those things. And our masculine energy is beautiful. Our divine masculine energy that supports us in the structure of our business and showing up and doing the things, that's wonderful when it's married and in harmony with our divine feminine. where we can show up with a full or overflowing cup, where we can literally co-create our lifestyles to be what we desire based on your human design, your cycle, your time of life, your desires and needs and wants right now. Like it can be extraordinary to like consciously create the lifestyle and business that you desire that works for your body and that you have total permission to enjoy how you want, to set up your boundaries how you want, to receive how you want. Like this is just what I love and what I'm such a stand for. So the abundance pod in particular is great for people who are more in the newer coach or healer practitioner space. And then once you're in the like, okay, this is an income, like this is my full-time job, then that's the prosperity pod that Laurie is now in on Wednesdays, who are desiring to like go for their next level, sell 3K, 5K, higher K packages, have 5K months, like have those goals in their heart and go for them and achieve them. So those are the like two different group options that we have in the like coaching and healing with me space right now. I'm so
I
excited.
was, me too. I was just thinking about how in like the first time that I enrolled, I'd never done a sales call
Right?
before. And I was so nervous and I was so scared. And I have a script and it's a good one, and I like that's something that we practiced. And there was another person in the group that practiced with me and we got to practice together. And now I'm like, oh yeah, passionate possibilities call, sales call, like no problem. I got this. It feels really it feels really comfortable. It doesn't feel salesy at all. And like that's one of the approaches that I really love about you, Laura, too, is that like you're not salesy. You're not like come and roll in my program and da 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 da. Like you're not like that at all. Like every call that we've had, where it was like, okay, do I want to join or re-up call? It's been just very like, what are you looking for and how can I support you? And you need time to think about it. Great. Like, okay, like it's a win. It's always a win-win.
Yeah.
And when it comes to like, price or, programs or throwing, like you give so much. And I feel like your programs are such a great value because I've paid, I've been doing self-development for a long time, as have you. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, wow, it's only that much, or, oh, okay, payment plan, flexibility, time period, like you co-create, like we
Yeah.
just co-created our, when I re-upped, I was like, I'm not sure what I want to do, what direction I want to go in, for the next 6 months. Like, yeah, I love it and I want to, but I'm feeling like there's another piece that I need, that you've got. And that's when, I told you what I wanted. I was like, yeah, I want to have better orgasms. And you're like, I can help you with that. Broken to blissful program. And, how about setting up a pleasure call? We call them our O calls now,
Yes,
and
we
where we get to
will.
talk, specifically about like what's happening. And so it's like I'm getting business coaching, I'm getting life coaching, and I'm getting sexuality coaching. So all in one. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. I don't have to like hire different coaches for different reasons. You are my one of my like very like close knit, tight group of trusted people, because there are a lot of people out there that like just want your money or just want to be, whatever, for their own ego. And like you are completely like just you are like the most loving, caring, helpful person. And so like having a very small and tight circle of trusted friends and advisors is like really important for my energetic. And And so, that's one of the reasons why I keep enrolling, because I'm like, I trust you and you do what you say you're going to do and you show up. The way that you show up is always congruent. It's always consistent. It's like I always get really good vibes from you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Even if life might be a little hot mess at times, it's still like congruent. Yeah.
Mm, Thank you so much.
Mhm.
I receive that fully.
Yeah.
I love these calls. It's like we get to celebrate you, and then I also like,
Yes, you get to be fed.
oh. Thank you, thank you. So let's talk about some of the pieces within the programs that
Yeah.
you particularly love and enjoy because we do co-create them. And yes, the first 6 week one that I expanded into 8 weeks. And I want to like clarify for the people listening that there's a difference between being a people pleaser and overgiving from a space of scarcity and I'm in lack and I'm afraid and I'm going to give them more versus having a full cup and coming from, ooh, I feel like we're at the precipice of something. Like we're like building that momentum, and an extra 2 weeks in the group would super support everyone and giving from that space. Or like with my calls, they're 90-minute calls in the prosperity pod. And it's like we'll buffer like 30 minutes after because sometimes if we're like right in the middle of something and going over for 10 minutes, that'll super support the group in its entirety. So I ensure that when I'm in that overgiving, super generous space in my business, it's from that genuine come from place of I have this resource, I feel grounded and congruent doing it. So I just wanted to like speak to those differences because definitely earlier on in my journey, I didn't have as good boundaries and I was more of a people pleaser. So sometimes that happens in my world, and people are like, well, how do you know the difference? So it's the come from place. It's the does it feel good? Are you lit up by it? Is it from an overflow place that you're offering it? So I love that you brought that in. So, yeah, do you want to talk a bit more about the different parts of the group that you enjoy, the different things that we do that have supported you?
Yeah, I love that we meet weekly, at the same time, and that we do like 3 weeks on and then 1 week off.
Yeah.
I love and I love the differences. Like we do, sometimes it's a hot seat call where it's like, okay, bring your issues into, like laser coaching. And
Mhm.
then, other times it's just sort of like I don't know, it's more open. I'm not really sure how to describe it. Like it has a different structure, it has a different flow, which feels nice. So that it's not always like, oh, I'm showing up and I'm gonna get drilled like every time. Not gonna get drilled, but like, okay, a lot of information to receive, you know.
Thank
um, and then I love power hours because it's like having just yeah, having the company, having the camaraderie and the community to like, okay, I need to get this thing done and like designated the timeout. I kind of wish we had more power hours. I feel like I need more power hours.
power hours. Love
uh,
that.
yeah, because I love them. I love having like that focused, time of getting the task done and just like how you approach tasks and like ways to approach tasks that we're not highly, excited about and things like that. And then I love our O calls because we can just be like open about what's happening, what's going on in our bodies, what are we questioning, I realize like, even being an intimacy coach, like the blueprints have expanded me so much as far as energetically and sensually and in my kink world and it in ways that like I didn't know. Like I became an erotic blueprint coach because I was like, holy crap, like there's all these different ways to be intimate and to do this and to experience pleasure. And so I expanded into each one of those. And like that's what I love helping people expand into because these erotic blueprints, like when I learned about them, like the light bulbs went off and I was like, oh my God, that totally explains me, you
Mhm.
know? when I learned about human design, I was like, oh my God, that totally explains me,
Oh,
So it's like I'm so passionate about it. And I also realized that like I am still learning, I am still developing, and I am also changing. Being a 46-year-old woman, like when I started this journey, with Jaya, I was like 30, and then the blueprints came along and I was like 36. Like I'm going through a different season in my life. And so things are happening. And I also realized that like I didn't have the greatest, sex education. And so I like I realized just in the last year, like I don't really know my yoni that well.
yeah.
And being an intimacy coach, like, okay, I've got the other, like the peripheral stuff sort of covered and expanded. And, communication with my partner has been key. And like now I'm like, oh, let's get to know my parts more, like on a deeper level, on a cellular level, on like in the sexual blueprint level. And so these O calls that we expanded into are like helping me um, connect, more with that part of me. Because being a sex coach, like I don't know everything. I'm still learning. And
Yeah.
I'm, like I said, I'm changing and I'm developing and like we all are. And so it's really helpful to have community where we can talk about these things. And to do it like on a monthly basis. So, I love that we added that, bonus in.
Yeah, me too. And I love co-creating with people because your people, so to everyone who's watching, like your soul aligned clients who have like soul contracts to work with you, they have within them, oh, I have this gap, and I want to get here. And like they will tell you what their next steps are, what they're desiring, where they're like having some stuff come up, some challenges, some obstacles that we get to perceive as opportunities for them. Like you can co-create packages and programs and group programs and containers with your soul aligned humans in a way that'll support them so fully and deeply. And I love what you were sharing earlier that it's like, yeah, it's in all areas. Like I do the healing and the conscious work. We do the subconscious and the conscious. We do the masculine energy and the feminine energy. Like we have a breadth and depth that we can go in because I've done all this work on myself and because I have all these tools to support you all in exactly the place that you're at in your life, in your business, and your sexual healing journey and all of those areas, which just like lights my heart up that we get to like do that full circle way. And I want to like give a little bit of the behind the scenes of some of the things that you talked to. So for this last re-enrollment, the From Broken to Blissful program just made sense to like bonus in for you because it's like, oh yeah, like that's a missing piece for you. I have a 3-month digital recorded program that's all set. Here you go. Like here's all the downloads and the steps and the processes and the strategies and the conscious and subconscious of all these things so that you could just drop right in and be supported by it. And for other people, like I added another automatic scheduled post in the group for someone else who wanted to keep track of their income producing activities. So we have a Facebook group that on Mondays, it's like, okay, set your intention. What's your outcome for the week? On Fridays, we have specific intention on celebrating in the Facebook group. And you can also celebrate your wins and brag all that you want during, because that is so important to
Mhm.
just like celebrate your wins, celebrate learning lessons as well in the Facebook group. And kind of the structure and the flow of the calls is that on our like 90-minute prosperity pod calls, we jump in, we celebrate, we do a pleasure first. Usually there's like more time to go deeper into embodiment practices and our pleasure first there to like hold more, to connect in with our future selves so we can quantum leap into that version and get the guidance and the downloads and the energetics and the vibration that that version of you is at so that you can not go like A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Like you can go from like A to Z so quickly by being like, oh yeah, I'll just embody that. Oh yeah, I like have what I need. Or, ooh, I'll make this tweak or I'll like go forward on this path and get here quicker. So I love the different flavors of our calls and that those 90-minute ones definitely give more space for me to come to the call with some like lessons to teach especially when I see where you are all at on your path. And I do like enrollment conversations to enter the group. So you need to tell me where you're at, where you're going, all those things, so that everyone who's in either the abundance pod or the prosperity pod, they're in the same range. You were all working with the same types of challenges. So I love that more often than not, people are like, oh yeah, like that was super helpful for me too. And oh yeah, that happened like with Derek, for example, because he just did a client case study too. Like it's like, oh yeah, everything that Derek said
Yeah.
and this, like it's so cool how like attracts like
Mhm.
people in my group just get so much value. One from the coaching I give to one person applies to everyone. And then also if someone's in a slightly different place, it's like, ooh, okay, I'll have that as a seed planted for me for when I get to that, for when I'm doing my email list like that, for when I'm doing my freebie like that. Like you guys get so much support from those lessons and those modules. And then I do open it up for hot seats and I get individual with all of you. Like it's the group, but I have a high desire to keep those groups intimate so I can continue to serve you all, knowing like, okay, this is where you're at. These are the successes you're having. These are some challenges coming up so that it's still tailored to the needs of everyone there.
Completely. Yes, I love that.
Yeah. And then power hours, for anyone who hasn't heard of that before, we kind of jump right in. We do a really quick pleasure first that like grounds us into an action step, whatever your inspired action step is for that hour. And then we all share our intentions of what we're working on and then celebrate at the end that we did the thing or that we made progress on the thing. So I love that there's all these different types of calls, and the hot seat calls again jump right into a pleasure first, have laser coaching for everyone, go at a round table and make sure that everyone gets whatever is coming up for them supported. And I've been doing this for years and years and years. Like 2019, 2020 is when Increase Your Impact and Income came through to me. And I just was like, oh my gosh, the things that I've been doing with my private clients, I need to be doing in group form. So it's evolved and changed over the years, but it still has so many of those same themes, core modules, pieces like that. And that was when I was like, ooh, I need to do hot seat calls. Because sometimes there's something in life or your ability to receive in the bedroom, for example, that it's like, okay, this is showing up over here and I like support on it. It's like, awesome, bring that to the hot seat call because everything's connected, especially as we know, sex and money have very similar vibrations. So if it's holding you back in your money here, you can play with it over here. And what I absolutely love about expanding in the sexuality space is that it can take, I believe, 10,000 different tries to like rewire your synapses, unless you do it in play. And then it takes 10 to 20. So you can play with receiving more in the bedroom if you're solo or if you have a partner, and that can expand your capacity to receive in your business and your body's ability to hold more. So I love that there's just like so many different ways that we get to expand as humans, and that I've also like co-created these containers to have that supports you all in the different ways that you need and in these different flavors. Awesome. Was there anything else that you wanted to share about the group? I'm like, we've been mostly just flowing, but I'm totally going to check my notes because we did
Yeah.
do a call for this.
Yeah, check your notes.
Um,
Ah, yeah, I just want to say that if anybody is like on the fence or you're thinking about it or you've been like following Laura for a long time and you're just not sure and you're still a little shy, like please feel free to reach out to me. You can private message me on Instagram or on Facebook. Or you can go to my website, email me, text me, all of the above. I'm totally available and I'm happy to share and happy to hold space and all that good stuff. So yeah,
thanks.
reach out. Please reach out.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Okay, so I found some pieces that we haven't touched quite on yet. Do you want to speak to how you've been able to receive more and celebrate some wins in that space of life?
Sure. One of the biggest ways that I've been able to receive more is from my partner.
Mhm.
And like I said, we've been together for 22 years, and and a lot of the frustration that I had came from everything being 50-50, working in a masculine world, in corporate accounting, like I literally wore pants every day and neutral colors and like did not stand out and did not, like just blend in, uh, you know, grind it out, like do the job, make the money, make more money. Like it was very money focused. And so, our relationship was very, like I said, 50-50, like paying half the bills. And, um, I brought in half, he brought in half, and, and we don't share finances at all. And we keep everything separate because, like I said, I didn't really know that we were going to be together 22 years later.
Mhm.
And so it's just that's what's felt really comfortable for us, and like those having those boundaries. And we're not married, and that's a whole nother thing, of like not having the expectation, like that kind of feeds my kink because I'm being naughty, right? And so that really works for me. And so um, you know, when I decided to transition, um, part of the reason was like, oh my God, I've got this money in my 401k plan that I've like saved up, right? And
Mhm.
if I'm burnt out and sick and miserable, like I'm not even going to be around to spend this.
Um,
So I was like, this is like the perfect time for me to transition because I know that this is the direction that I want to go because I've been thinking about it for years and years and years. And so I was like, I'm willing to like spend my savings and invest in myself. And I also had a conversation with my partner that, hey, it kind of stresses me out that like, like that I'm not bringing 50% to, or it stresses me out that until I can bring 50% to the table that I'm not. And and by having this conversation with him, he was like, well, and I've never ever ever like had a money conversation in this way. I was just like, I'll take care of myself, self-independent, self-sufficient.
yeah.
And we like I had the courage to like have a conversation with him and be like, it would feel really good and really supportive, like if I didn't have to bring 50%.
Yeah.
Like if we could just kind of like not do that for a while, a little while, um, and that I could be supported, that would feel really, really good to me. I would feel so much yummier, so much juicier. My life would be so much, like more relaxed, and like
Mhm.
all I like spelled out all the benefits.
Yeah.
And he was like, like, yeah, I understand that you're starting a new business, and
Mhm.
I get it. And yeah, like I'm happy to support you.
Mhm.
Like you don't have to bring 50%. I'm like, what? And
Ah,
he's like, yeah. I was like, oh my God. He's like, yeah, whatever you make, like, as long as you can like cover your overhead in your business. And then like if you make more than that, like we spend it on vacations or travel
yeah.
or what have you. I'm like, holy shit, are you kidding me?
Mhm.
Like the ability to be able to receive that level of support from somebody I was never comfortable with. Um, and and like now I'm like, oh my gosh, I get to be in receiving mode. I
Mhm.
get to be in gratitude mode. I am so grateful and thankful to him. Um, that it has really deepened our connection, and it just makes me like go, oh my God, I'm really meant to be with this guy, you
Mhm.
know, that he's willing to like I'm asking. I mean, just having like being brave enough to do that, and being met, whew,
Mm.
whew. Like I still have, you can probably tell just from the way that I'm talking about this that it's like it's freaking huge, you know. And I feel that like because we've been together for so long and I've been there energetically supporting him and showing up for him and showing up for myself and really developing, like going from that pants wearing neutral colored person to like more dress wearing, colorful, yummy, juicy, you know, energy that like he's seeing the changes, he's reaping the benefits, like I'm putting in the work. And so it doesn't have to be like the way that it was. Like I can, in me showing up this way, like that's beautiful and that's worthwhile and that's worth it,
Mm-hmm.
for my relationship. And, doing the same thing over and over and hoping for a different result. We know what that definition is, right? And
Yep.
so, like me, both of us sort of stepping out of our comfort zone and like I've been there supporting him in job changes, career changes, in between jobs. Like we've always been there for each other in that way. And so, now that like, I mean, we're living our best life. Like he's got an incredible job and like he's in a financial place where he can do that. 10 years ago he wasn't, we weren't, and so it was like hence the stress, hence the reason why I kept doing what I needed to do. But it's like now that I see like, okay, like we manifested this, he and I co-created this. And
Yes.
so when he was like, hey, we got to sell our house and we got to move, I'm like, are you sure you want to do that? I was like, yes, because this is what we've been talking about. This is what we've wanted. This is what's going to set us up for retirement. This is what's going to set us up for the next 20 years. Like, oh, it's here.
Yeah.
And so for me to be able to like receive the support and the abundance of that, like,
Mm.
oh, I did not know that was possible. I mean, I had hoped or I had prayed or I had thought, but I didn't expect, and it kind of scared me, and so to be able to step into that and be able to enjoy it, and um I'm so grateful. So yeah, that's what Laura was referring to in being able to like receive more,
Yeah.
in my relationship. So it's kind of huge for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so
And for him.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, celebrating you both so much for like being at your edges and feeling into what's a yes for you and then holding that new container. Like that's so big. And then like normalizing it in your system and being like, okay, I can hold this. I can receive more. I'm worthy and deserving of receiving more and co-creating abundance and allowing it to flow into my world without like being like, no, cutting it off, like short circuiting it, like cutting off the flow and being like, never mind. No, actually, no. Like that's so big that you've been able to like hold it and embody holding it. That's so huge. Celebrating you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, there was some other pieces from our notes. So you had shared when we were preparing that you love when I've lovingly called you out on your shit.
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. Like, there's no like sugar. I mean, Laura is very sweet about how she like brings things up, but like no sugar, it's not, um, I keep like sugar coated is the word that keeps coming up. Like it is not
It
sugar
can be
coated.
fierce and be like, this is what it is.
Fierce and loving.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I just heard you say this word or this limiting belief. And
Mhm.
like, do you want to release and clear that? Like, okay, I want to point that out and make you conscious and aware of it. Are you, are you conscious and aware of it or are you not? If you're not, then like, hey, this is what I see. I love that like you can also pick up on energy too. Like I'm kind of feeling this thing, or how does that feel? How did what I say land in your body? Like what's coming up, like your curiosity around that, and being able to navigate that.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. It's loving fierceness, and um, yeah.
Mhm. And to me, I've grown that fierceness throughout my coaching journey, which has been incredible for me to like hold that space for humans to be like, yeah, I'm gonna like pause you right there in your story because I don't want you to repeat it for the umpteenth time. Like
Yeah.
we're gonna pause you and actually clear it and redirect and like move towards the life that you want. Because you're telling me and your soul is very clearly shouting, this is what you want. What you've been doing has been getting you here and it doesn't feel great. So I'm gonna pause you and be like, let's get you here. And I feel like that's so, 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 so important to have for me when I look for coaches, for other people to have, and the coach that's supporting them on their journey to be like, okay, let's have the difficult conversations sometimes to be like, let's actually get you there instead of just like letting you play in the shallow end of the kiddie pool and be like, okay, well, you're comfortable there. Let's just like let you be happy and comfortable. It's like, yeah, you're here to stretch and grow and meet your edges and let's be here. Let's like go in the spiritual gym to get you the actual life that you're desiring to have.
And you're sympathetic too. Like when the shit comes up or the limiting beliefs come up, it's like, yeah, I feel you. Like I can understand, I can relate. Yes, that part. Like we love those parts. And it's like, okay, here's where you want to, here's where we want to go. Here's where you want to go.
Yeah. And I've been there on the journey. So like I can remember when my human part was going through that thing and I can feel the struggle or the conflict going on in someone's life when they're in that moment and be like, yeah, and this is how you get to the other side.
Mhm.
Lovely.
Yes, I love the quantum leap concepts. Like, I don't need to follow all the steps. Like, I don't even want to. My manifesting generator is like, nope, skip me. Skip me to the results, you know. Yeah.
Mm, awesome. Another piece that I wanted to bring in from our notes was boundaries and how I'm amazing at holding the container with boundaries and like video boundaries and stuff like that. Do you want to share that piece?
Yeah, I love that you're like, okay, like 2, 3 minutes, you
Mm-hmm.
know, because it really makes you like we can also post in the Facebook group if we need support. So even in between the calls, and also like I think I've done voice messages, you know, through Messenger, like, hey Laura, you know, struggling with this. Like, could you help me with something really quick? You know, what do you think about this? You know, like on the spot. In between calls, kind of coaching, which is really helpful. And so going back to like, you know, you allow us to like post, you know, 2 to 3-ish minutes to really like, and it's been really helpful for me to do that because it like summarize what the problem is. Don't tell too much story. Don't go on and on and on. You know, like we have a tendency that we can do that as human beings. We're really good at talking about things. That it's like summarizing it in a way where you can get direct support and then you coming on and giving direct support for that.
Mm-hmm.
I love that you hold that boundary. And that if you're inspired to talk for 5, 10 minutes about it, you know, then like that's what you're inspired to do. And I love how you said that you're doing it from a place of like overflow and instead of like, oh, I have to, they need this from me or whatever. It's like, I love the boundaries that you set with yourself and like the intentions that you have, like everything that you do is intentional. And I love that you get back to us, you know, within a few days, like you have boundaries around that. Like it won't be immediate, but you know, it's like, I know that if I check in, okay, next day or the next day or the next day, like it'll be there. That like you always comment on things, you always address things, like nothing goes unnoticed or unmentioned or and even in like posts that I do on Facebook, like you will like something, you
Mm-hmm.
know, like I see your support when I'm, you know, when I'm on social media. So that's really nice too.
Yeah, and that's something that I've done for years where like whenever someone's a client, I put them in my top friends. So I'll see them more in my algorithm. So even if like I'm just scrolling and off hours, like I'll at least like something of my clients because that'll support them in their algorithm. If I'm like having more time or space, I'll love it or comment to like whoop, engage more. Everybody. Notepad though. Um, so yeah, like thank you for sharing all the boundaries piece. And the next place that I wanted to go was what were your objections? in deciding to first enroll, to re-enroll? Do you want to speak to some of those pieces for anyone else who's like, I kind of have objections in my head?
I think like one of the number one objections that I usually have is money,
Yeah.
of like, oh my gosh, like, am I gonna get a return on my investment here? Or like, oh my gosh, like this feels really expensive.
Mhm.
So usually things come up around money for me, and um like having payment plans, being able to like stretch it out so it doesn't feel like, oh my gosh, I'm like a huge, lump sum investment. And then like, is this person going to be there? Are they going to deliver on what they say they're going to, do? Like, no doubt that Laura, like over, like, she's a bargain. And so every time I'm like, the money objections kind of leave me, because I'm like, I know what the kind of support that I'm getting from her, I could pay a lot more money from other coaches for. And so I feel like she is like, you're really good value. And that makes my nervous system like, okay, yes, I have made this investment and I am, paying in full, and like, oh, but I also know like, okay, yeah, I mean, I've enrolled, several clients like as I've been in the program to like cover that. And so, it's like I know that my return on investment, and it's an investment in myself too. It's like, how much money could I pay in therapy as well, and other kinds of coaching, and all the things, right? And I'm able to like get it here with Laura, and
Yeah.
I'm able to like be accountable for it and practice it, and have that support. So like, to me, it's totally worth it. Um yeah. And so my objections, like, any of my other objections would be like, oh, am I going to get the value? Am I going to get what I paid for? Is she going to deliver on the yes? Like, yes, yes, yes. Like there's no more objections in that. And like this last time when I was just like, I just kind of feel like I need something a little bit more, like you were like, yes, here you go. I like, is this something that, that, that you would like we getting to be able to co-create, and things that I need, not, oh, here, okay, in order to have you sign up, I'll give you da 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 da, and it's like, I don't need any of that. It was like targeted, oh yeah, well, yeah, I'm happy to gift this to you, I'm happy to bonus this to you, I'm happy to add on another thing.
Mhm.
So yeah, so I would say that's about it for objections. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm. And I
Yeah.
love that you shared that I like over deliver, because again, it's like
I do.
from the congruent, I was so excited and I got on that, for
Yep.
example, last next step call with you being like, I feel like there's something else. I'm like, I'll give you like a smorgasbord of like what I've experienced, what I've done in the past with clients, what I've liked in other programs, like what else would you like? And then over here, we're like, oh, we could just add in an O call. Okay, we'll just do that monthly and have fun with that energy.
So
Um,
having a whole nother hour of Laura's time for the same price, oh my gosh, like, wow.
Thank
Very
you.
grateful for that.
And it's so fun. Like I've loved all of our calls. Like they've been so
Yes.
enlivening, and I get so excited that we're about to have them. And it's like so good. And I also love the piece that you brought in on return on investment, because it's like, yeah, the first time you enrolled, I believed it was like 1,111, and you sold a 3K package. Like I love, love, love being a stand for clients who desire to get their return on investment, to get it during the program or very shortly after the program. And like 99% of my clients who have that intention get it. And that's what I desire for people, especially if they're in the like more business coaching space, that they don't just rack up debt
Yeah.
from investing in their business. Like I can see that there's times and places for that for certain humans who desire to go down that path. And I would much rather support my clients in having that overflow and have net cash in their bank from the work that we do together. So that's what I tend to be a stand for. And we'll do like clearings and healings and support things early on for people to experience that in my world as their reality. because that was a big thing for me for a long time. I was a seeker and invested in myself and didn't get my return on investment. And then I'm like, okay, I really need to start making money back on this.
Yeah.
And then that became a priority for a lot of my clients in my world too. So my last question, what would you say to someone who's been in my world, watched this video all the way to the end about the potential of working with me or getting on an enrollment conversation to see if one of the group options or a private option would be good for them?
Yeah, get on a call. Like Laura is so much fun to talk to. I mean, you've probably like you can see her energy and her radiance and comfortability and approachability. Like get on a call. I promise that it's gonna feel good. Like you're gonna feel better when you get off the call than you when you got on the call. And she's like it really easy to talk to, and like she's not gonna sell you. Like she's not one of those people. So, like if you're not sure, like bring your unsure self. It's okay. Like that part is absolutely honored, celebrated, loved, and supported. And so, yeah, I would just say like and I would say that, if you need support, like Laura's a great, she's one of my like trusted five, which is amazing. It's like so grateful. So yeah, just get on a call, and bring your messy self or your scared self, whoever it is, to that call, and it's all right. And you can also reach out to me too, and I'm happy to answer any questions. If you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I should say this or say that or talk about this or talk about that. Like, yeah, bring your objections. Bring
Yeah.
them all. Love them all. It's all
Mhm.
good.
Yes. Thank you so much for sharing that. So yeah, it's a complimentary call, so you literally have nothing to lose. And in that call, we get super clear on where you're at in your life and business right now, where you're desiring to go. And I'm excellent at diagnosing all these different gaps and why you're not there right now, or why no matter what you've been trying to do, you're not there yet. I'm extraordinary at seeing like the bright neon sign that like no one else is seeing. I'm a reflector
Yes.
in human design. Like it's just like a bright neon sign and everyone else is like, I don't know what's happening. And I'm like, this, or like this and this. So I'm excellent at diagnosing like, okay, if you like worked on this is your big domino piece.
Yeah.
Doing this is going to make everything else easier or unnecessary for you. So it makes the path so much more efficient and easeful and pleasurable for you. And we can co create a personalized plan for you moving forward, whether that's with me in one of my group programs or a hybrid with group and some private, or just private if you're more in the like, I want 10K or 20K months. Like, if you're in whatever phase of your business, I can support you, or be like, actually, you might be better fitted over here, or maybe start with this resource or this thing. So I love tailoring support to the human in front of me. Like we were saying, I don't do an XYZ cookie cutter type thing. So it gets to support you with whatever is actually showing up for you. And that's an increase your impact and income call. I'll be sure to put the link to it below or in the email. If this goes out in email form, you'll be able to see the links that you can book in for free and we can get on a conversation. And like Laurie was saying, like I'm not salesy, I don't pressure people. I super honor people's no's and where their body is at. So we can celebrate your full body hell yeses when that's your energy, and also honor when it's just like, okay, that's good information. I've received all these valuable pieces, and you're actually better suited in this world over here. Like super honor people's paths and what their soul is guiding them to do.
Yeah.
Mm,
Amen. Yes.
yes.
Absolutely.
So how can people connect with you, Laurie, if they're like, oh my gosh, I need to talk to you, and be like, is this real? Like, did Laura do a Facebook Live just for show? I'm not one of those people that just like does for show things. I'm very real and authentic, and I don't wear makeup, and I'm like all natural. Like I'm transparent, open, honest. We'll say that like God's honest truth. And you can be like, all of my clients are amazing. And they're like, yeah, private message me. Cause I've done that when I've vetted my own coaches, when they've done different client success stories or testimonials. I've reached out and I'm like, how was that actually? Like, I welcome that. And I love that my clients have opened up their time as well to like have conversations with people who are curious and who really want to know and want to make sure that they're choosing the best next step for themselves. So thank you, Laurie. And how can people connect with you? Mm,
Yeah, private message me on Instagram or Facebook. My handle's the same. It's Laurie Love 13, and my name is Laurie Love, and then 13. And that's also my website. It's just laurielove.org.
awesome.
Yeah, because I'm a big proponent of like giving back to charity. So all of my profits go to charity.
Yay.
Mm.
So amazing. Super celebrating you. And sending you so much love, Laurie. Thank you so much for being on with us, for sharing your story and allowing us to celebrate your success so far. And thank you, everyone, for watching. And if you feel called to join either of our worlds, to get on a conversation, definitely sending you lots and lots of love to take your next step. So thank you so much and have a
Love
wonderful.
you.
Love you too. Bye.